Hello and welcome to the program, our special coverage on the ongoing protests. My name is Medina Azaki. Now don't forget, today is the sixth day of the protest and the protest is still continuing in some part of the country. In some other states, there's been a curfew, Kaduna and Kanu, and in some other places it has been relaxed. Some of the states that are worst hit during this protest is Kano State, Jigawa, Maiduguri, and Yobe. Today we are going to be looking at the cost implication of this protest. How much was lost, how much was destroyed, and how this will affect the economy as well as the inflation rate. I'm being joined in the house by my special guest as usual. I have Mrs. Kate Richard. She's the founder of Community Hope Foundation. And I also have Mrs. Anna Olubumi, who is a nurse with the emergency unit. University of Jos Teaching Hospital. Ladies, many thanks for joining us on the program again.
Thank you for being here.
All right. But before I go to my ladies in the house, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be joining Yushua Aliu, our in-house economist, to keep us up to speed as to how much the economy has lost in the last couple of days, ever since this protest has started. We'll be back after the break. Stay with us. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Malayusha Aliu, good to join you. Good to join us on the program again.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
Yes. Where you are, what is the situation like?
The situation is relatively calm, but with a lot of grievances and anxiety because there is enough security and also the youth are still angry and hungry. That is just the truth.
Is there a protest going on in your area now? That's Kaduna Road, exactly, right?
Yeah. The situation is under control. People are going about their normal businesses, but the truth of the matter is that people are still grumbling. People are still hungry, like I told you. But there is no any alternative rather than to allow peace to reign.
Okay, so let's go back to the economy, the one that is worst hit ever since this protest started. If we're going to go into figures, how much has the economy lost in the last 6 days?
You know, before even the start of the strike, I have explained in this channel that there has been a conservative estimate of losing over 400 billion in naira terms. That is without even consideration of looting and other economic vices. So the situation, the first and second day recorded the highest loss based on conservative estimate of around 700 billion. So if you now quantify this to a number of days, which include, like I said in the earlier, you consider banks not working, you consider financial institutions of all kind not working, you consider market close, you consider a lot of hurdles in transportation, and you also consider big economic cities, Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, and others. You find relatively very high cost that has been inflicted to the economy.
Let's look at the man on the street, the everyday man, the one that has to go out to make a living before he feeds. What is the situation today?
The situation is multiple hunger because people are trying to at least even look for what to eat they cannot have, and even their neighbors doesn't have. Like I will tell you that this morning I only only God knows how many accounts were sent to me for assistance, and that shows that a lot of households are not comfortable, especially those who are to visit hospital, or not only to eat. Those who are to visit hospital, their numbers in high. Yesterday I was in the hospital and I saw how people are trooping in, and all is associated with hunger and malnutrition, and because poor health conditions generate to general defect in health sector generally. So we have seen a lot of videos of people stammering because of hunger, and that is just the situation everywhere. Because if you are to go out, the places to go out is locked. Your neighbor doesn't have, you don't have. So the last option is just to adopt natural way of suffering, eating, living without eating, and it is very dangerous.
All right, let's look at the implication of this to an economy that is already struggling. Is this in any way going to drive us into recession? Because if we're losing about 700 billion in just 6 days, is it going to drive us into recession, considering the fact that some of the states that are worst hit, like Kano, Jigawa, Maiduguri, and Yobe, who are also going to be laying a lot of workers, a lot of people are going to be jobless because their places of work have been raised down. Are we going to enter recession for an economy that is struggling?
Madina, when you listen to what President Tinubu explained to Nigeria in his speech on Sunday, you realize that he is counting on economic gains in terms of revenue generation and sharing. You also realize that the economy is not suffering. It's only Nigerians that are suffering, because making 9 trillion addition to the income, you will not be speaking about recession. So, and also I want to take you back. Nigerian economy was locked down in 2020 as a result of corona,
yeah.
and that was a total lockdown without even some economies working. So in the situation on ground now, people are struggling even to go back to their businesses. Artisans are going back to their workshops. A lot of people are going back, opening their shops, because there is no any alternative. And I don't think it will lead us to recession. Only that our problem is compounded. It's compounded because the youth are shouting for absence of food. And you remember, Medina, in 2022, in 2023 December, we specifically informed Nigerians the situation they are going to face. You remember that perfectly, because we said the greatest danger that is approaching the economy is when subsidy is permanently or completely removed.
Yes.
That is when Nigeria will face reality of what is whether this subsidy is including them or is not including them. And Nigerians were brainwashed. I have said in one media station yesterday that Nigerians were misguided as far as this subsidy is concerned. And the first misguidance that came to the mind of Nigeria was that statement by former president, who is subsidizing who. So people, because of trust, they hold on to that and believe that this subsidy is only meant for few individuals. And when it was perfectly removed in July 2022, they were not, they were adamant to understand the implication until when prices of PMS change, prices in the market changes, shortages of food. I have been crying for 7 years that our borders that we refuse food to come in is going to degenerate. It's going to cause hunger in this country.
But the issue of opening border has been solved one way. The federal government has given waivers to importers of wheat, rice, and other consumables for the next 150 days. That is 5 months. So the issue of border closure has been solved to some extent.
Have you been to the Federal Minister of Finance looking for a waiver to import 1 or 2 things? Have you been there?
I am not an importer, so I won't go there.
I have been there.
Are you an importer now?
Listen, Haji Amadera, let us not misguide the society. I was
We're
there.
not misguiding the society. We are speaking together, and I'm trying to get.
And that is what I have applied. And at the end of the day, we paid this waiver. We paid because we cannot continue to pay demurrage because of administrative lapses.
When was that? When did you pay? When?
We paid last week.
Okay.
We paid last week. Over 100 million was paid to custom to clear our goods at the dry port in Kaduna.
So
we imported boilers for rice mills
hold
to
it.
expand our capacity.
So it means that the policy has not started working.
That is what I am trying to guide Mr. President to know, that there should be efficiency in any policy adjustment, not just pronouncement. If you make pronouncement and at the end of the day, administrative lapses are collapsing whatever hope the ordinary Nigerian has, then it's coming back to the same government, it's coming back to the same society. And that is exactly the situation. Like I was telling you, if borders are open, it's a different thing. Importing food, people stand on their legs that food cannot be imported. But they have forgotten the fact that since 2014, when our agricultural production was stable, when inflation was stable, when unemployment was stable, Nigeria still import to augment the metric ton shortages. And today, what can never bring prices down are already on ground. So there is need for us to understand the large number of our societies. I am just coming back from Enugu last 3 days, and I have seen probably on the road and the different cities that we pass, people anywhere you go speaking about food. That is not the history of Nigeria. People must have food in their reserves. Like I said, whoever told you that there is food in Nigeria, tell him that all household in his community should be empowered to go to market to buy food and see whether you will see food that will remain in the market. And
the question will be, what happened to our food reserves? What happened to them?
I am not in charge of food reserve, but all I'm telling you is that youth and Nigerian people are on the street crying of hunger.
Okay, now we're at a crossroad. The protesters are saying, bring back subsidy, end hunger, and bad governance. The president in his speech reaffirms that subsidy is gone forever. So where are we now?
That is the message which he has mistakenly told Nigerians in May 2023. And I have, on that very day, called his attention that is going to backfire. Based on one reason, Nigerians need to be guided and educated.